Hey everyone, it's Triple Mango Threat, and today me and my friend are going to be talking about the banned cards in EDH. Let's jump right into it.
I'm Jason, been playing Magic since middle school.
So, Ancestral Recall. What do you think about that?
I think, okay, unpopular opinion here. If Wizards ever got rid of the reserve list, I think it would get unbanned.
I don't think it should be.
I mean, there's other cards that do very similar things in just about every color.
Not for this one.
I mean, it's just target player draws 3 cards. I mean...
Right, but not for one blue. And it's an instant.
I'm trying to think of a few off the top of my head. Temple Bell. I mean, that's draw 1, but...
But you also have to pay 2 mana for that.
Yeah.
And that's each player draws a card. But anyways, so do you think it should be banned or do you think it should stay banned or be unbanned?
For now, I'd say it needs to stay banned.
I totally agree with you. Because you know what happens if you want to draw 3 cards now? You know how much mana you have to pay?
Not off the top of my head.
You have to pay 2 and 2 blue, and it's a sorcery speed card. So literally 4 times as much mana, and it's a sorcery speed. Only you are able to draw the 3 cards. So yeah, this is busted.
Yeah.
So what's our next card?
Our next card will be Balance. As Thanos would say, perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
So can you tell us the mana cost and what it does?
Yeah, 1 white and 1 colorless. It's a sorcery. Each player chooses a number of lands he or she controls equal to the number of lands controlled by a player who controls the fewest, then sacrifices the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way.
That is a big yikes. I don't like that at all.
Is it a fun card? No. Is it a boost to white that the color needs? Yes.
Okay, that's a good point. So I've always been on the bandwagon of, no pun intended, of banned or banned. Anyways, I'm always like, you know what, white needs more card draw, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, it has cards like this that make the game fair, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really think white needs more card draw. I think it just needs more power in general, because I'd still say white is probably the weakest color in Magic.
What about this card? Do you think it should stay banned or unbanned?
As much as I would hate to play against it, I honestly feel like it should be unbanned, purely because white needs the power boost.
I think I would unban it if it costs more mana, but still, like, I don't enjoy having people sacrifice their lands, because, like, if I'm on the opposite end of this, maybe I'm playing green and I've ramped several times that game. They're like, by the way, I've had a bad game, you're gonna join me? Yeah, I don't like that.
There is another white card in Commander that does a very similar thing, called Restore Balance.
Yes.
Which is suspend for 6 turns so people can prep for it. But at the same time...
Still does the same thing we're talking about. So you would unban this one.
I would say unban it, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, white really needs a power boost in general.
Okay, I can't. I have to keep it banned, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Alright. Next one is Biorhythm for 6 green. It's a sorcery. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls. Ouch. Yeah.
I mean, green and red get the boost, everything else just dies off.
I mean, I think thematically this is a great card. But imagine if you are playing no permanents in your in your deck, because there are decks that exist like that. You literally kill people off with this.
Very true.
I would actually unban this, honestly.
I would too. It's got a nice high mana cost for what it does. And, I mean, assuming you are playing a deck that plays no creature permanents, you're likely to be playing Answers.
Yeah, you can counter this. So you can literally pay 1 and a blue for a negate, counter non-creature spell, and your opponent wastes 8 mana just to do that.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to the next one.
So I think with this next one, we'll go on ahead and lump a couple of these together because they're all going to fall into the same category. So that category is the Moxes and Lotus.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll leave the rest of the Power 9 out for now because I've got different opinions on those. But for those cards in specific, Black Lotus, I mean, it's playable in Commander now.
Right. Just for Commander mana, or, you can only cast your Commander with that card.
Well, I'm referring to, what's his face out of, Commander Legends.
Jeweled Lotus?
No, not Commander Legends. The one that can tap, create Black Lotus.
Garth the One-Eye or something?
Yes.
A little off topic, do you think they should have made the Black Lotus token for that card?
Yeah, I mean, there are ways that they could have got around their whole list there.
I heard rumors they did not do it because they did not want people to proxy it, but I don't know why that would stop anybody in the first place. So
I mean, at the very least, we should have got like an Ixalan style card with just the list.
Oh, sure, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, they don't even have to give us art at that point. It's just give us the card names.
Okay. So, moving on, next is Braid's Cabal Minion for 2 black. It's a 2/2 human minion. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. What do you think about this card?
So I've got a very unpopular opinion on this card.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to have a lot of those.
It is one of my pet cards on the ban list. Honestly, it's fairly tame for today's standards in Magic. Especially in black. There's another card coming up on the list that I can think of that also really shouldn't be banned. But I think it's fairly tame in the 99 and even as a commander.
So you don't think... So let's say someone's having a really bad game and they're only playing lands. How do you feel if you have them start sacrificing those lands?
I mean, if they're already mana swamped, then, I mean, it's not going to do much for them.
So by turn 4... I think turn 4, you'd have them sacrifice a land so they'd go down to 3.
I mean, I don't think I would play her that early, but that's just because I'm a relatively nice player, even with a mean deck.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Alright. I think she should stay banned. I don't like her. I like the blue version. It's a lot more fun.
True, but she also just got a reprint, so...
Yeah. Alright, what's our next card?
Chaos Orb. Actually featured in a deck on game nights. So it is 2 colorless. It is a mono artifact, which, fun fact, those don't exist anymore. Because there is a card in the unsets that make those just not function. But back on topic, it is 1 colorless to activate. You'll flip Chaos Orb onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Chaos Orb must turn completely over at least once, or it is discarded with no effect. When Chaos Orb lands, any cards in play that it touches are destroyed, as is Chaos Orb.
What do you think about this one?
I love the flavor and its unpredictability.
Yeah, I've never played this card, but I do see how fun it could be. I think it should stay banned. Would you unban it?
I mean, I love the flavor. Power-wise, there's no reason it should be banned.
Okay. You think it's a reasonable card?
Reasonable in what it does, or reasonable in the way it's played?
With what it does.
With what it does, sure. I mean, it's super unpredictable in what it destroys, so...
Alright, our next card is Coalition Victory for 3 white, blue, black, red, green, and it's a sorcery. You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type, and a creature of each color. What do you think about this one?
So as a person with a pet deck that runs 5 colors, I think it needs unbanned.
I think it can be unbanned because there's a lot to this.
There is, but another player pointed something out to me recently about it, which kind of makes it unfair at that point.
Okay, what's that?
So, let's say you're running Dragon, for example.
Right.
That covers your 5 colors of creatures.
Yes.
And then with the lands, say you're running all the duels.
Yeah.
You grab those or half your set of duels, and you've got the 5 colors.
Yeah, but we're talking about, what, at least 6 cards plus this? Like, it's going to take some time to set up, but I understand what you're saying.
It's really easy to set up if you run the correct type of deck.
I think I would unban it, but then again, I don't play 5-color decks, so I just assume
I would
hard.
unban it, but it is fairly unfair.
Okay. What's our next card?
Channel, green, sorcery. Until end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add 1 colorless.
What do you think about that?
Well, it just got a reprint, so if you got that as one of your archive cards, big sad. But as a card itself, there are other cards on this ban list that do very similar things, but there's also cards that aren't banned that do a very similar thing.
I am not a combo EDH player, so maybe that's what this is all about. I can't think of anything this goes with. I also have never played the card, so I have no idea, but that's whatever. I don't think I would keep it banned because it's also in green, and not a lot of artifacts are in green because that's more of a blue thing, and I don't know. I would unban it. I just don't play the card, so I don't know.
So the big combo, back in the day anyway, would be you would run it in a green-red deck, and you would run Channel Fireball.
Oh.
Hence the old Channel Fireball's name, Channel Fireball.
I've never known that.
So you would pay 39 life.
What?
And it's any time you could activate a mana ability. So you would pay 39 life with Channel. You cast Fireball for 39 colorless and a red.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
What?
Now do you see why this is banned?
Wait, so we're talking in the mana cost? We're not talking about...
Yeah, it's any time you could activate a mana ability. So, I mean, it can be in a card's cost.
Did not know that. Well, I was proven wrong today. Alright, so I would ban it. I did not know that. I'm sorry. Next we have Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn for 15 colorless mana. It's a legendary creature, Eldrazi, 15/15. This spell can't be countered. When you cast this spell, you're going to take an extra turn. It has flying, protection from colorless spells, Annihilator 6, and whenever it's put into the graveyard from anywhere, you can shuffle it back into your library. This is a lot. I've never actually read this card. I've only seen the art. It's really pretty.
It is.
Yeah, let's keep that banned.
I mean, the other Eldrazi's are just as powerful.
No, not like this.
I can't even justify it. Keep it banned.
Okay, we'll just move on.
So this one is Ario Sarant. Why'd you give me this one? Ario Sorotami Ascendant, I suppose, is what we'll go with. So it is 1 colorless and a blue. It's got flying. Whenever the 4th spell of a turn is played, flip it, and then whenever it's flipped, counter the first spell played by each opponent each turn.
Wow. Well, that's... I want to keep that banned, but also...
I can think of one other card off the top of my head that is not banned, that I run in...
It's Jace, isn't it?
Yes, it is a Jace. That's literally his ultimate ability.
I mean...
I believe he comes in with 4 loyalty, if memory serves me right.
I guess because this is easier to get there, but also it's 4 spells in a turn, so that's pretty tough.
I mean, 3 after you cast him, because I believe if I'm reading that correctly, it would read him as being the first spell.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're right. Huh.
So, I mean, you could do him, Soul Ring, I don't know, and let's just go with Mana Vault and Mana Crypt.
Yeah, you could play 0. Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
And then you've just got an instant not board wipe, but keep him in check card.
Yeah, forever. So that means when you try...
Well, it is an enchantment, so there is removal.
Right. But they're going to have you get the... They will counter your first spell, so it's rough.
Yes.
All right.
So let me pull up this one, because I can't read the text on Wizard's site on this one.
Oh, good point.
Here we go. Do you want to read this one? Or?
Yeah, I'll read it. All right. Falling Star for 2 and a red. It's a sorcery. Flip Falling Star onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Falling Star deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect. So we got another Chaos Orb going on.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion stands for both this and Orb. I don't think either of them should be banned, even based on price.
I get why some people would find it fun. I think this would be okay if it was an undeck, but I think if it's like a tournament type thing, I would keep them out. I mean, if it's just casual, whatever.
It's a very flavorful card.
It's only 3 damage, right?
3 damage to each creature that it lands on, and it taps them.
Yeah, I think it's a fair card. Well, I don't know.
Which, I mean, between the two, I don't know which one I would consider better.
Because right, the other one destroys them. That's just 2 mana.
Yeah, so it's 2 mana to destroy, or 3 mana to deal 3 damage and tap it.
Well, I would just keep it banned, but I see where you're coming from.
Neither of them are particularly broken.
Yeah. All right. What's our next card?
So this is a card that I used to run in Cats whenever I bought the deck off of a local. And I didn't know it was banned at the time. Neither did our play group, as far as I know. Until one of our players pointed out that it was banned, and I still ran it for a while. So it is Fast Bond. It is 1 green. It's an enchantment. You may play any number of lands on each of your turns. Whenever you play a land, if it wasn't the first land you played this turn, Fast Bond deals 1 damage to you.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that banned times 3. Yeah, not going to happen.
I mean, coming from experiences from somebody that's actually played it while it was banned, not knowing so, I think it's actually a fairly balanced card.
No, I don't think so.
As good as it sounds, even if you get it turn 1, let's say you've got 4 lands and that in your hand plus, I don't know, 2 cats.
Sure.
Then, I mean, you're still paying 3 life for those 3 extra lands.
Yeah, that's nothing. You're literally paying 1 life for 1 land.
Well, it's 1 life per land.
Yeah. Are we saying the same thing, or are you saying something else?
I mean, I'm saying it's not as powerful as it seems because it runs out of steam fairly quick.
No, this would be better than Exploration because that lets you play an additional land, and it's still the same mana, and it's an enchantment. You can play any number of lands. This would be like a $500 card if it was like not banned.
I mean, I don't know. It was unbanned at one point in Commander, and I mean, if we look at the charts, even back then it was only a $60 card.
Okay, well, I think this is like a Gaia's Cradle type power card. Like, that is...
It is, but on that same point, Gaia's Cradle's not banned.
You're right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one banned. I'm assuming you would not keep it banned.
I wouldn't, because I mean I've played it. It's fairly tame. Because I mean, if you get it early game, it's good. If you get it late game, it's just a dead card at that point.
Okay. Our next card is Flash for 1 and a blue. It's an instant. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2 mana. What do you think about this one?
So we both know why this card was banned, correct?
I have an idea. I don't play CEDH, so I have somewhat of an idea.
Or I'm at least sure we're both familiar with the term Flash Hulk.
Yes, I've heard that. I don't know what Hulk is in reference to.
So Hulk is in reference to, let me pull up the card real quick. Protean Hulk. Which is 5 and 2 green, normally. It is a creature beast. Whenever Protean Hulk is put into the graveyard from play, search your library for any number of creature cards with CMC 6 or less, and put them into play, then shuffle your library.
Oh.
And it is a 6/6.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that banned. If people are gonna do that, yeah.
However, I don't think I would have banned Flash. I think I would have banned Hulk out of the two.
You literally get every creature, right? Or am I reading that wrong?
CMC of 6 or less for each of them. So, I mean, depending on what you're running in that deck, I mean, you could potentially grab everything. Like, if you're running goblins and that for some odd reason, I mean, that's kind of a terrible 3-color deck, but just for example, yeah, you could fish out for every single goblin in your deck, more than likely.
I'm surprised it's not banned. If it can do... Anyways, I think I would agree with you. I'd keep Protean Hulk banned instead of this one. I mean...
But the funny thing is, Protean Hulk is not on the ban list.
Right, yeah. I mean, maybe if they change Flash to sorcery speed, maybe they'd consider it. I don't know. Anyways, our next card is Gifts Ungiven. Can you tell us about that one?
Sure, because our playgroup actually, we follow Rule 0 occasionally. If you want to explain Rule 0 real quick.
So Rule 0 is something all the players agree upon before the game. It's like a little pep talk of sorts, like, hey, I'm going to be playing this, how do you feel about it? And then they'll say yay or nay, and then they'll either continue with that game or just find a new deck.
So, in my Jace Tribal deck, recently featured on Triple Mango Threats channel, I run Gifts Ungiven in that deck, because it is purely flavorful. Mind you, in any other deck, it's broken as anything can be.
Right.
But in that deck, it's just in there for flavor. So, however, we didn't say what the card did yet, so I guess I can do that real quick.
All right.
It is 3 colorless and a blue. It's an instant. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. Then shuffle your library.
So, you think if it's just a casual game in your Jace deck, you think that's alright to play it?
Yeah, because I mean, it's pure flavor, especially with the art from the Jace spellbook.
I don't like this one. It's really powerful, so I would keep it banned, but I know what you're saying, though.
But, like, in that example, though, like, in my deck, I mean, we already agree it's playable in that deck, but...
Well, your deck also isn't competitive. You play it for fun. It's your pet deck.
Yeah, it's one of my pet decks. It's purely there for flavor.
Alright, the next card we're talking about is a very powerful card. It's Grizzlebrand for 4, black, 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 black. It's a 7/7 demon with flying and lifelink, which is really dumb because the next ability is pay 7 life, draw 7 cards, so you can literally pay 7 life and then hit someone and gain that life back, and then draw another 7. Yeah, this is dumb.
Not only is it dumb, but it's incredibly broken if you run it in a Crick deck.
Oh, well, yeah, or even Villas, wherever you lose life, you draw that many cards. So you could draw 14 off of this.
Yeah, I mean, or run it in a black-white deck and run, yep. I don't know, let's say, which angel is it that I'm trying to think of? You don't lose the game if you hit 0 life.
I know what you're talking about. I cannot think of the name, but yeah.
Then, I mean, you just draw up your entire deck and...
I mean, it does cost 4 black, so I can see like why people wouldn't want to run it in a multicolored deck. But yeah, I want to keep that one banned.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible, but it's incredibly broken too.
Yeah, I think it could be better if it didn't have flying or lifelink and it was like a 1/1 or. Anyways, I'm not trying to.
Our next card is going to be fairly controversial. I seem to think
ban.
It is. It's a big feels bad for a lot of people.
Yeah, I just traded for one.
It feels bad.
Yeah. Wizards got me right in the heart.
Should have been keeping an eye out for those insider traders.
I've never played it, but I so wish it was a white card. So, Hull Breacher costs 2 and a blue. It's a 3/2 Merfolk Pirate with Flash. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw on each of their turns, or each of their draw steps, actually, instead you create a treasure token. And a lot of people did not like this card because whenever you do a wheel, or a card that makes you discard your hand, and you draw, let's say, 7, you would literally not be able to draw any cards, and the player who has Hull Breacher just gets a bunch of mana. So I understand why that sucks. And I think people will still have this in their decks after the ban because they'll just be like, hey, I'm going to be playing this card. I'm not going to be doing anything dumb like wheels. So what do you think about it? And then there'll be a conversation.
I think for this card in specific, I think if Wizards made an errata to it, like they have in the past with other cards, I think it would be purely playful. Or not playful, but playable. Just remove Flash, and it's nowhere near as broken.
No, I think even... what it should have said, if an opponent would draw a card, whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one, you create a treasure token. It shouldn't be the except part, or instead. It just, whenever they draw, you make a token thing. I'd be totally fine with that. Because you're literally just making people not be able to keep a hand, and that's not fun.
So our next card will be Iona, Shield of Emeria. 6, white, legendary creature, angel, flying. As Iona, Shield of Emeria enters the battlefield, choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spells of the chosen color. 7/7.
I know it's like probably one of the more talked about cards, but I love this art, and I know it's 9 mana, but I would literally unban this, honestly.
I would unban it as well, considering, speaking of unbanning cards, a very similar card got unbanned around this time last year. Or actually, I guess it would have been 2 years ago now? Maybe last year? 2 years ago.
Is it Painter's Servant or something like that?
It is Painter's Servant, yes.
And that's colorless.
It's even more powerful, because it is 2 colorless. As Painter's Servant comes into play, choose a color. All cards that aren't in play, spells, and permanents are the chosen color in addition to their other colors. However, you run that in combo with Grindstone, and that is 1 colorless artifact. Pay 3 colorless, tap it, put the top 2 cards of target player's library into that player's graveyard. If both cards share at least 1 color, repeat this process.
Right, you literally mill them. If they're a mono deck. Or no, you choose. Yeah, never mind. You mill them. The next card we're talking about is Caracas. It's a legendary land. We can tap it for white. or we can tap it to return target legendary creature to its owner's hand.
Again, white needs a power boost. However, I don't know if that's too much of a power boost for white.
I think it's too much. I think if it was like return target legendary creature you control, like that, I would unban that immediately. I'm going to keep it banned, but if it only specified your creatures, then I'd unban it. The next card is one I think you would unban.
I would. I know it's fairly mean, but it's just fun and flavorful.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, elves do like their gold.
I don't think so, but read it to us.
So Leovold, Emissary of Trust, black, green, blue. Legendary creature, Elf Advisor. Each opponent can't draw more than one card each turn. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one banned. I know it's like fun for the person playing it, but it's just giving me Hole Breacher vibes because it's just like, yeah, you want to draw cards? How about no?
There's also other cards that do a similar thing to where you can't draw more than one card a turn that aren't banned.
Yeah, that's true.
Like there's the not Nessa, what's her face? Blue Planeswalker.
Yeah, the name
is drawing a blank.
It's like 1 and 2 blue, and then opponents can't draw more than one card each turn. And yes, it's very annoying. Yep.
It's Narset.
Yes.
Harder of the Veils.
I hate that card, and you play it, and so I'm like,
I play it, I mean, to be fair, you run it in any blue deck.
Yeah, you really do. I'm surprised that's not banned.
I think it's purely because it's a Planeswalker. Because if you look at the list, there's not a single Planeswalker on this list.
Huh.
There almost was at one point, and that would have been, it almost would have been Oko.
Oh, yeah. For sure. You would keep this, or you would unban this, right?
I probably would, just because it is fairly fun.
I would keep this banned. The next card we're talking about is Library of Alexandria. It's a land. We can tap it to get a colorless, or we can draw a card if we have exactly 7 cards in our hand. Maybe I'm missing the point. I don't see why this is banned. I don't get it.
I can tell you exactly why it's banned.
Of course you can. You looked that up. My initial thoughts are there's a green card that does the exact same thing, and it is a creature, but I'm guessing it's the money. I really have no idea.
So it is purely because it's free card advantage that you can use in any deck. If Library of Alexandria was not banned, it would be in every deck, just like Sol Ring, just like
Oh, sure.
What's the card I'm trying to think of?
Arcane Signet.
Arcane Signet, just like Mana Vault or Mana Crypt. I mean, they're just simple throw in every deck cards.
So would you keep it banned?
Probably, because there's one combo I can think of just off the top of my head that's fairly rude to play, which is Blossom Dryad, Mind Over Matter, and Library of Alexandria, plus 7 mana of cards, plus the 7 cards in hand, means you get infinite card draw.
Oh. Well, I would actually unban this one. Even after all the examples you gave, would you keep it banned?
I probably would, just because it's one of those cards that goes in every deck.
Okay. What's our next card?
Let's see here. Limited Resources. It is 1 white. It is an enchantment. When Limited Resources enters play, each player chooses 5 lands he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So first of all, I've never seen this card before.
I have not either. Probably for good reason.
This is horrible. Absolutely horrible.
It's horrible and I love it.
Yeah, white can be very powerful, but I'm noticing a lot of the white cards are on here, surprisingly. Like, it makes sense what the card's doing, but man, not fun. Lutri, the Spell Chaser. For one, Is It? It's a 3/2 elemental otter with companion, which is each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. And it has flash. When it enters the battlefield, you cast it, you can copy target instant or sorcery you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Now, I already know you are all for this card.
I am all for this card because, or at least as a commander.
Oh, okay.
The only reason it's banned is because, again, it goes in any deck that runs red-blue.
Yeah, it could literally fit. Like, you wouldn't even have to be the theme. Now you have 101 cards.
It is a 101st card.
Yeah, which I understand why it's banned. So I would keep it banned. What about you?
I mean, I would go back to the old rules and add on another one, which the old way it used to be banned is they used to have a separate list for banned in the 99, banned as your commander. Throw in another one and banned as a companion.
Huh.
Not that I think companions are coming back for a while.
The next card we're talking about is Panoptic Mirror for 5 colors. It's an artifact with imprint. We can pay X and tap it. We can remove an instant or sorcery with converted mana cost X or less from our hand from the game. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast an imprinted instant or sorcery. Oh my goodness. Without paying its mana cost. Alrighty, I've never seen this card. This is a big yikes.
It is, and I can think of one player in our playgroup that would be playing it if it was unbanned.
Yeah, this is super powerful.
It requires that X mana, so I mean you've at least got to pay it once. But the second it hits the battlefield, the playgroup is screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. Paradox Engine. Do you want to read that one?
Sure. 5 colorless, legendary artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control.
This is a very powerful card, and I actually recently purchased one, even though it's banned, purposely because I think they're going to unban it eventually.
I do as well. It's not... I mean, power level, it's great, and the only reason it got banned was because CEDH.
Yep, I know nothing about CEDH, so the next card we're talking about is Primeval Titan for 4 green. It's a 6/6 giant with trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, we can get 2 basics. Or no, it's 2 lands. Never mind. Put them on the battlefield tapped. Is a really powerful card, and I will keep it banned. What about you?
I would as well. Even though it did just get a reprint not too long ago. It's so good that it's just...
Yeah, it's dumb.
I don't want to play against it.
No, not at all. What's our next card?
Prophet of Krufix. 3 colorless, green-blue. Creature, human, wizard. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. You may cast creature cards as though they had flash. It is a 2/3.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one banned. What about you?
I done ban it purely because, I mean, it's not a legendary creature. So, I mean, you can't run it as your commander. So, I mean, purely speaking of it being in the 99, it's really not that bad.
I think green and blue have so much going for them that this is too much. Like, it's Vidalcan Orrery. Well, correction. Only for your creatures, though. So, I can see what you're saying. I would keep it banned. You would unban it?
I would. I mean, I've got a few copies just kind of speculating that it may come off the ban list one day.
Next card is Reoccurring Nightmare for 2 black. It's an enchantment. We can sack a creature, return Reoccurring Nightmare to its owner's hand, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery.
I don't see why this is on the ban list. Because even in general, I don't think it's that good. Oh, there are several combos that you can run with it. Let's just use this one for example. You play Recurring Nightmare, and you play Survival of the Fittest, which is 1 and a green. Enchantment, green. Choose and discard a creature card. Search your library for a creature card. Reveal that card to all players, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your library afterwards.
I understand. So would you keep it banned?
I can kind of see why it's on the list now. Just looking at the combos, there are fairly cheap cards that combo with it.
The next card is Raphelos. Llanowar Emissary for 2 green. It's a 2/1 elf druid. Tap this card, add a green to our mana pool for each forest you control. That is really powerful.
It is, especially for elves.
Yeah, let's just keep that banned.
I say let's unban it. Elves already have power as it is, and they're expensive enough to build as it is. Let's just give them another piece of power.
All right. Funny enough, you get the next card. Good luck.
Charizard.
It costs 2 white. It's a sorcery. Players play a magic sub-game using their libraries as their decks. Each player who doesn't win the sub-game loses half their life rounded up. That is so annoying.
So, I will say, it is also banned in Commander, but there is an uncard that does the exact same thing.
Let's ban them all, because I don't want to waste time, man. I just want to play games.
I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. I like sub-game mechanics.
Let's ban it. Keep it banned.
Nah, let's unban it and run both in a deck.
Next card we're talking about is Sundering Titan for 8 mana. It's a 7/10 golem. When it enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, choose a land of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. Oh, some land hate. Yeah, I see why that's, I mean, for 8 mana, that's a lot.
It is. I own a few purely because it was a dud rare in Double Masters.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, with it, because it was already on the ban list whenever it got reprinted. So, I mean, let me just look at the price currently. I think it's less than 80 cents right now. Oh, correction, it's $1.18 right now.
So would you keep it banned or unban it?
I would keep it banned. It's just, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't want to play against that.
All right.
I love the art, but specifically on the art on the old version, I really enjoy.
What's our next card?
Sway of the Stars. It is a blue card, 8 colorless, blue. So I mean, it's got to be powerful.
Yeah.
It is a sorcery. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into their library, then draws 7. Each player's life total becomes 7.
Wow.
Can you say blue Sorin Markov?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like you literally restart the game.
It is literally combine the ultimates of of Karn and the neg-3 ability of Sorin and make it strictly better.
Yeah, let's keep that banned. I understand why it's 10 mana. I've never seen this card before, honestly.
It is a lot of mana, so let's just keep this card out of Commander.
Yeah, sounds good. The next card is Sylvan Primordial for 5 green. It's a 6/8 avatar with reach. Whenever it enters the battlefield, for each opponent destroy, target non-creature permanent that player controls for each permanent destroyed. This way, search your library for a forest card, put that onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Alright. I guess it's just an insane amount of ramp. That's why people don't like it. I don't know. I think I would unban this. I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong. I don't see why it's banned. I mean, I'm guessing it's the ramp that people are going crazy about.
So I've seen firsthand why this card is banned. Because me and a couple friends have played games on occasion of banned decks. So he combos way too easily.
Okay. So you would keep it banned?
I would, because I've been on the feels bad side of that card, and I don't ever want to do that again. And not to mention, I'm not a huge fan of the art on it.
What's the next card?
So this card, I know exactly why it is banned. It is Time Vault. 2 colorless. Artifact. Time Vault enters the battlefield tapped. Time Vault does not untap during your untap step. If you would begin your turn while Time Vault is tapped, you may skip that turn instead. If you do, untap Time Vault. Tap Time Vault. Take an extra turn after this one.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to untap it, so we don't have to ever skip a turn.
I'm just gonna swing and a miss that card.
Yeah, I'll keep that banned.
Yeah. I mean, as much fun as I could have with that card, I think my playgroup would want to murder me after I get done playing with that card.
Our next card is Time Walk. For 1 and a blue, it's a sorcery. Take an extra turn after this one. Yeah, if you look at any cards that have you take an extra turn, you're probably at least paying 6 mana, I'm pretty sure.
So there is a red spell Final Fortune.
Oh, yep. 2 red, I believe.
It is 2 red. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game.
How you use those cards and don't lose the game is you end your turn before your end step.
There is another blue one that I can think of that is 2 blue and 1 colorless. Or actually, there's one right here on the list that I can think of from Journey into Nyx that is 1 blue and 1 colorless. It is a creature card, human wizard. It is a 1/1 that states, heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets Sage of Hours, put a 1/1 counter on it. Remove all 1/1 counters from Sage of Hours. For each 5 counters removed this way, take an extra turn after this one.
Yep, I am familiar with that card. It's really easy to keep taking extra turns if you care about counters.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of other take extra turn effects, and I mean, there are other ones that are just as cheap, but a lot of them do have other downsides to them.
Well, what do you think about Time Walk? Would you keep it banned?
Purely because I know I will not ever own one.
Oh, so you're saying it's a financial reason why?
I mean, that is a big reason as to why. It is the cheapest out of the Power 9, but it is still Power 9.
That surprises me.
So out of the Power 9, this one will run you from unlimited $2,500. That is the market price. Right now, listings I'm seeing are closer to 4 to 5.
Yeah, I would keep that banned. Can you tell us the next card?
Tinker, 2, and the blue, yet another blue card. It is a sorcery. As an additional cost to Tinker, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for an artifact card, and put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Yep, that's really powerful.
Yeah, I can definitely see it being powerful. Let's just say the ban list did not exist for just a moment. I think I would combo with him, and let's just go on ahead and grab my Mox, and then fetch him back from the grave somehow. I can't think of a card off the top of my head to do it with. And then we'll grab, I don't know, Lotus, or I mean even just grab Sundering Titan.
That or Blightsteel Colossus, which is an 11/11 that deals Infect. So yeah, this is one I would keep.
Yeah.
The next card is Tolarian Academy. This is a legendary land. We can tap it for a blue for each for each artifact we control. I like the theme of it. I think it works thematically, but this is too much. Yeah.
So I will counteract your point on that one. While it is busted, almost the rest of the entire rest of that cycle is unbanned in Commander.
I think yeah. Well,
and they are just as busted. I mean, look at Gaia's Cradle. I mean, the white one is not nearly as good, but Sarah's, Sarah's Academy? Sarah's Sanctum?
Sarah's Sanctum. You get a white for each enchantment, I believe.
Yes, you get a white for each enchantment you control. If I just look at the cycle, what's the red one? I can't remember off the top of my head.
So, would you keep this banned?
I think strictly I mean, it's really a cycle of 3 on this one, because the other 2 really are not part of that cycle. I wish they would complete this cycle of broken lands. But I think I would unban it, seeing as the other 2 are not banned.
I have to disagree, but tell us our next card.
Our next card will be Trade Secrets, which is 1 colorless and 2 blue. It is a sorcery, and it does target opponent draws 2 cards, then you draw up to 4 cards. That opponent may repeat this process as many times as he or she chooses.
Oh, do you die from this?
You theoretically could.
Right, like they kill you. I would like if this was a white card. That would be really sweet.
It would, but it's not very flavorful to white.
No, it's perfect. Would you keep it banned?
I wouldn't, because your opponent does get to pick when they stop. So I mean, if let's just say for just reasons you want to run it in a Hugs deck.
Oh man.
I mean,
I think you just die from this, honestly. So you would not ban this.
I wouldn't. I mind you, I don't think I would run it in very many decks. I think it would strictly go into probably Hugs decks.
So I would keep it banned. And the next card we're talking about is Upheaval for 4 blue. It's a sorcery. It says return all permanents to their owner's hands. This is another rough one because permanents includes your land. So.
Yeah, there are other cards that are not banned in Commander that I despise just as much as I despise this card. Psych Rift. And that just hits your non-land permanents, and I still despise it. So
Yeah.
somebody plays this, and I am scooping and probably flipping the table while I'm at it.
What's our next card?
World Fire. 6, red. Sorcery. Exile all permanents. Exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life totals become 1.
This is a no-no.
This is the first time I've ever read this card. I'm like, oh boy. That is one that, well, I think it belongs in a World Fire.
Yeah, this isn't,
However, I would love for it to be unbanned, just because I want to make my table feel bad.
I think this is a horrible card.
It is so bloody expensive to cast.
Yeah.
Especially for red, because I can't think of a lot of mana reducers in red off the top of my head.
There's one last card, and I've actually got a story after I read it. So for 4 black, it's an enchantment. You're going to skip your draw step, but you can pay 1 life to draw a card. When I first saw this in a case being sold, I was like, oh man, this is such a great card. I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to be like the best Commander player ever. And when I bought it, the seller didn't say anything about it being banned in Commander, and yep, it's a great card, sadly banned. I will keep it banned as well. What about you?
I mean, I can see both sides for why it is banned, but at the same time as to why I would want it to be unbanned.
It's very powerful. 6 mana makes sense. I wonder if it was more mana if they would unban it. Probably not. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jason. I hope we have learned a valuable lesson about the banned cards in Commander, and as well as the listeners. Let us know what you think about the cards we would keep banned and unban. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to the patrons who help support this channel. You can also become a $10 patron to see your name at the end of these videos, and you get an exclusive altar sleeve each month. Be sure to comment down below and subscribe for more Mango content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.